All right, so I am going to start focusing, adding another layer to the face area. So I've kind of zoomed in on the face area and a few things that are on my kind of list of things I need to kind of look at and think about when I am working, adding a second layer. So my first blackened layer, I kind of smudged in areas, I softened areas, wasn't really focused on any type of detail, just kind of getting the shapes and getting placement and putting values kind of where they belong. And I softened all the areas here. But now my goal now is to start to add, build up the depth, build up the color. One thing that I feel like is that the face is just a little too large. So I don't think it's the actual shape of the face. I think what I need to do is give more depth towards the sides of this face here so that it is kind of curving in towards the hairline. All right, so I'm gonna start. I've got my palette here, and I'm gonna just go in, start with the eyes. I'm gonna start with the eye area because I love starting there, and just revisiting areas and slowly adding a new layer to my to my face area here. So I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna mix a dark. I got black in the ivory black and some burnt umber, maybe a little blue in there. And I'm just going to take a look at, again, I'm not focused on any type of finishing. I'm just kind of going in and kind of working through areas. So I just went in and I added some real dark to that eye area. Now I think I'm gonna get my alizarin crimson and some of the burnt umber here. And there's some dark right at that corner there. And I'm just kind of tapping along the upper lid area, the eyelash line, just kind of tapping that. Might be a little too dark for right now, but I will kind of knock it back a little bit. But I'm just looking at those dark shapes. I'm going to wipe my brush, just take a little bit of paint off and just kind of tap along that area. I'm going to go in, I'm going to mix, I'm going to go down to my line 6, do the same thing. I've got the lighter alizarin crimson with some of that burnt umber. And I'm just going to continue to just kind of tap in. That might even still be a little too dark. I'm going to go a little bit lower to my line 5 and mix that with the burnt umber. And just kind of tap that in. I'm just kind of tapping my brush. It's a little dark. I'm going to go down to my line 4. I'm going to take some of the burnt sienna and some of the alizarin crimson, a little bit of the blue. Mix that together. And again, looking at some darker areas. I'm just kind of tapping here. I'm going to go add a little bit more of that alizarin crimson. I see a lot of redness. I'm going to go a little bit lower to my line 3, alizarin crimson. Same mixture, burnt sienna, a little bit of that blue. just gonna tap in color here. I'm gonna go back up. I'm gonna just go in my burnt sienna. I'm going to my line 4 because it just seems a little light. Taking my clean, I've got a clean brush here, and I'm just kind of smudging again, just softening those areas that I just kind of added there. Just kind of pulling some of that color upwards, bringing it a little bit downwards. There's definitely, you can see that the bottom, the shape of the eyeball is definitely more evident here. So I'm just kind of pulling some of that down, softening the eyelash line, right? The line where because it's not going to be a hard line. I don't have a ton of like really, really kind of heavy eyeliner on. I'm going to go back to this mixture, the burnt sienna and the alizarin crimson line, and I'm just going to tap in the crease here. I'm just going to tap in just color, and then I'll go back and soften it. And just kind of soften that. Pull some of that color forward and upward just to soften that line. Keep going here. I'm gonna go, I think what's next is I'm just gonna go in the eye area. I'm gonna use some of my, the mixture of everything and just add it and see because the whites of the eyes are very kind of grayish in nature. So I just tapped in some color. I'm taking this cleaner brush and just kind of smudging that so it's not so bright. And then the inner and outer parts of the eye, that might even be too bright. These little corners in the eyes are there's a lot of redness. I'm actually going to take some of the quinacridone rose, and I'm just going to just lightly tap in color here, because there's a lot of redness in those corner areas on both sides, the inner and outer. And I'm seeing more yellow. I'm going to go up to my 5. I'm going to mix that in with what I had there and just kind of tap in, just lightly tapping in, and then softening it a bit. I'm going to go back in this kind of alizarin crimson. I'm going to add a little bit of the burnt umber. I'm just going to go back and just tap into the dark here because there's some shadow that's going to happen here. I'm slowly building up. I see, if you look down at the lids, you see some light hitting the lid area. I have a little bit, but I'm just going to go in just lightly, again, lightly tap. And nothing is, nothing's set in stone at this time. I'm in my line 5. I'm going to mix that alizarin crimson with the burnt umber. And I'm just trying to build up the shape. I'm building up the lower and upper shape, the shape that is holding the eyeball in place here. The bags under the eyes. I'm going to go down a level and just kind of mix that with some alizarin crimson and that burnt sienna. Just tap a lighter value in that area underneath the eye and just softening, right? Because now I look like I have black eyes here. Looks like black eyes. But I'm just starting to set the stage here. Taking a look here. I'm just going to stay in my 4. I'm going to take some of the cad red and the yellow here and just kind of tap in maybe a little bit more yellow. And I'm going to calm it down with some of my color from there, my everything color. And just kind of softening, just slowly building it up. Again, we're not looking for a finished product here. We're looking to just kind of build up what I'm seeing here. And just kind of working through that. Kind of stepping back. I'm going to work on those lids. I'm just going to do line 4, kind of adding to that red, the cad red and yellow ochre. I'm going to add some of my everything color here. Just lightly tap, finding the area where the light is hitting. And then I'm going to go up. Oops, this was the mixture. Go up to, I think that was actually up more. Line 5 here, and mix my yellow and red, a little bit of the everything color. And just lightly tap, gets slightly darker. Kind of like that color. So I'm just going to tap it in some of the areas here. And then I'm going to go up another one. See, where were we? We're up here. So we're going to do up to my line 6. Mix that same mixture. Just kind of tap in a little bit darker. Taking my cleaner brush and just softening. Just tapping over what I painted, just soften those transitions. Soften that crease in the eye there. Sometimes I'll have to go back in with my dark again to kind of kind of add that. I think I'll do that now. I'm going to just go into I'm going to go in my line 6 here and do my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna and just kind of tap back in. Because the eyelash line, again, isn't always like this, unless there's some really thick eyeliner in that area. I'm also going to tap a little bit in the crease area. That line is going to be very soft. I'm just going to kind of tap in there. Stepping back to observe. Definitely need to do some shaping in here. Let's work in between the eyes there. I'm going to do my line 4. I'm going to add some burnt sienna to that yellow-red mixture and my everything color. I'm just going to kind of go in the middle here. It might be a little too bright, but we'll see. And I just kind of want to work that area right here where the cheekbone is starting to get a little bit of more yellow on my brush here, where the cheekbone is starting to kind of come outward. So what I'm trying to do is just soften this little scoop area of the lower eyeball area. There is some shadow going on over here. So I'm just going to return. I'm going to go to that darker mixture and just tap in. Make it a little bit darker over here. I'm just going slowly. There's no need to kind of rush through the process. Stepping back to observe. It's coming together. At one point, I just felt the eyes were like huge. So just kind of going back and just kind of tapping in color. I'm going to do my line 5. It's alizarin crimson and some of the burnt umber. And bring in some of my every color there. I want to just get a little darker here in this. Didn't really come out dark. But every color kind of lightened it a bit. Clean my brush again. Let's start over. Let's just do burnt umber and the alizarin crimson and just kind of tap in some darker value right here, even in here, where the upper lid is kind of curving in. I'm just going to kind of soften that a bit. I'm going to take that burnt umber and the alizarin crimson. I got some shadow kind of hitting from the crease in the side area here. It's not like crazy, crazy dark. This is kind of dark. I'm just going to go in, I'm going to soften again. Let me use that same color. Over there. I know it looks pretty dark right now. I'm going to kind of go down, use this mixture, the yellow and red, to just kind of soften right here. Because the dark isn't really, really dark, but you see that the values start shifting a little bit darker over here. So I'm just kind of knocking it down a bit, just by going down a lower value and just kind of blending that in. Let's see, I'm gonna go up here. I feel like it's really dark right here. So again, I'm just taking some of that and just kind of calming it down a bit. Even this has gotten a little too dark, the area. We'll keep playing with it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on this side area, but I'm going to add some greens. I'm using the Viridian and the yellow ochre. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use my everything color because I like that color. Because it is, the value seems kind of light. Let me get some more green in there. But it is pushing back. Might seem too bright, right? Let me just kind of blend it in and see what happens when I do that. That might be a little too bright. Might need to kind of, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up to my line 6 and mix yellow ochre with the Viridian there. And just kind of maybe a little bit of the burnt sienna just to make it a little bit redder. Let me go in. Let me try the alizarin crimson. Sometimes you just need to adjust just a bit. You know, so I'm trying to kind of get that feeling that this part of the face is just kind of curving back towards the hairline. Kind of moving the brush in the direction that the skin tone is going there. I'm going to pull another brush here and I'm just going to get my burnt umber, and I'm just going to soften that line, the hairline with the with the area of the side of the face there. All right, I had done a little bit of work on the eye area. And I was recording, and they always decide to have the leaf blower on. perfect time, right? It's always on at the perfect time. So I decided, okay, I'm just gonna record. I'm just gonna kind of paint, and then because I wanted to get stuff done. So I'm just kind of touching up, just tapping in. In the previous video, I sped it up a bit, but you see me just kind of tapping in and reshaping areas in the eyes. And I'm just kind of, I'm not, I'm not in this kind of finishing mode. I'm still kind of developing the information, still kind of shaping, still softening up lines. I've been using that burnt umber a lot. To mix in color. And I've been using this everything color a lot. So basically I'm sitting, I have, 3 brushes. I have my brush that I'm using to paint, and then I have my, well, sort of clean brush at this moment in time that I use to just soften what I just kind of did. And then I have paper towel in my hand to just kind of wipe my brush. I'm going to go to line 5 and just kind of soften what I just did here. So it is always a work in progress. I'm going to line 3 because I really want, I don't know how, I'm going to go up again. Line 4. And look at me making a little mess in between. I moved it over here so I wouldn't make that mess, but and it's a slow process, right? I'm not in a finishing mode. I'm just kind of tapping in information, stepping back to observe. I'm going to work, let me just kind of, because this is bothering me and the mouth is kind of bothering me. So I just want to kind of get that in. I'm going to go into this kind of mixture there. And I kind of lost the bottom portion of the nostril flaps here. So I'm just going in and just kind of revisiting that. I should really be at this point using my Mall stick. There's a lot of shadow down under here. I'm just going to kind of block a little bit of that in that I've lost. And then, because on the sides, there isn't a ton of shadow, I just feel like I've lost that shape, the nostril flap shape. I'm going to use my red and my yellow. Just kind of reshape the sides there. Stepping back to observe. We return to that shadow. I'm going to take my softening brush and pull some of that down. Little bit better, still needs a little, looks kind of wonky, looks kind of like one nostril flap is higher than the other. And I just reshape there. I'm going to go in with my burnt umber, a little bit of alizarin crimson, just kind of tap in the darkness of the nostrils there. And definitely a lot of shadow underneath there. Also, ooh, that I didn't want. I didn't want that. There's a little bit, I've lost some of the kind of darkness here. In the corners of those nostril flaps there. Definitely didn't want. I'm gonna try to get some paper towel and wipe that there. I didn't want that to happen. Definitely missing, add a little bit of the linseed oil on my brush and just definitely missing a shape here on the sides there. It's getting there. It's getting there. All right, I want to work on the mouth because the mouth is bothering me. So I'm going to do my burnt umber, alizarin crimson there. It's just bothering me. So again, I'm still trying to stay pretty, keeping the lines soft, but I don't know, I feel like this is, I look at the mouth area in this piece and I don't know, it makes me unhappy. So I'm just going to work on it just a tiny bit, just tiny little. And I think that's all it really needed was just some, I softened up the dark areas on the corners of the lips here. I think that's all it really needed. I'm going to mix, I'm going to do the quinacridone magenta in the rose here, a little bit of the burnt umber, and just lightly just tapping in the dark here. And then taking my clean brush and just softening. I'm gonna go a little lower here, adding that quinacridone rose. I feel like this quinacridone rose is so perfect for lips. Again, just keeping the shape soft for right now. I feel like this side is a little too, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna go a little bit lower and just a lighter value with the quinacridone rose and the quinacridone magenta. A little bit lower there. Just kind of go a little bit lower, a little bit of alizarin crimson. Why not? Oops. Let me go back in to that burnt umber kind of mixture. Just soften right here where the kind of got too light. Burnt umber, alizarin crimson here, and just this area in the corner, softening around it. Same with here. I'll take my clean brush here and just kind of softening the corners here. To help give it that kind of shape. I'm gonna go back in with my dark here and just kind of tap in a little bit of shadow there, just to block that in there, and tap with my clean brush. I feel like that's a little bit better. Not perfect. I'm going to my line 5 burnt sienna and just kind of mixed it with whatever I had there. And I'm just kind of darkening. That's not dark enough. I'm going to go up again. Burnt sienna. I guess this is the alizarin crimson here. I'm just going to tap some shadow underneath here. The little crease area where the chin is beginning. And I'll go in with my blend brush. Move it in the direction that that's going. This is all the lower lip area that was kind of bothering me. I think that's a little bit better. I think. I'm going to go in with that same mixture here, and I'm just going to tap in. There's some shadow kind of in the corners going upward, and I'm just going to kind of shaping that upper mouth area there. And I think that's somewhat better, a little bit better. Let's continue. Let's work this upper mouth area. I definitely see a lot of, I'm going to go to my line 4. I'm going right into my Viridian, adding some of the yellow ochre to that and some of my everything color there. I'm just going to kind of tap it in to see what it looks like. Might be too light. I'm going to go up to my line 5 now. Same thing, just to see what it looks like. Just tapping in. I'm not making like these decisions that are just set in stone. I just want to see what happens. And then I kind of take my kind of blend brush and just kind of blend it in a bit. Is it too light? Is it not gonna work? I don't know, we'll see. We'll keep kind of playing here. I'm just kind of, I have a little bit on the brush. I'm just kind of moving that in certain areas here. Let me go on this side. I'm gonna kind of go up line 5. Even though it's not that dark, I'm gonna go in my yellow. This is kind of like my yellow-red mixture. There's a little bit of green in that. I'm just gonna kind of tap that in. See what happens. Then take my blend brush and just kind of soften. See what's happening here. I think there's a little bit of redness here. I'm gonna go, I'm line 5 here. See my alizarin crimson and yellow here. And just kind of tap some redness where I see it here. Back here, just tapping in some redness. And then taking my blend brush and just kind of blending that in. I lost a little bit of my shadow there, so I'll bring that back in. Looks a lot better. See, I've kind of knocked it down a bit. Still needs a little bit more work. Let me go in. I got my burnt umber and the alizarin crimson. I lost some of my shadow down in here. So I'm gonna try to get that back. I kind of feel like this side of the mouth is just looking a little bit too long. Might be a little bit better. We're still working on it. So adding a little bit of redness right in between there. There's a little bit. It's getting there. It's getting there. Here's another problem area that I just kind of want to deal with. I'm just going to go in, let me do my line 5. I'm using the cad red and some of the yellow ochre. And just kind of see here the shape. Stepping back to observe here. I'm gonna go up a bit, yellow ochre. I feel like there's a lot more green in the chin area. I'm gonna add a little bit of this Viridian here. I'm also wiping my brush because I just feel like the area that's kind of curving back towards the neck and the hairline, there's a lot more green in that area. That's what I see. Get my blendy brush here and just kind of blend. All right, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna use the burnt umber and the alizarin crimson. And I'm just gonna go in and add, you know, some of the shadow in here. Take my blend brush and just kind of blend this line. The chin where the neck is also very soft. It's not a hard line, even though it looks like it. Remember, the chin is kind of curving under and going below there. I'm just going to take just a lighter value here, like a red and a yellow value, just to kind of add some light to portion of the neck there. And then blend. That might be a tad bit better. Still needs a little bit more work. A little bit. But definitely a lot better than where it was. I'm a little happier with where this is now. Use the blendy brush to just kind of move. All right, I'm gonna let me just, you know what, I'm gonna go back and before I'm gonna get a little bit of black and the burnt umber. I'm just gonna go in this area here. And just kind of let some of the hair just kind of float over. In that area. Same with here. I got another blendy brush here just to blend just a bit. All right. I'm going to step back and observe and just see where I am. I did a little bit of kind of adding a new layer, just kind of reshaping areas, but I'm going to see where this is and if I should continue on, But for right now, I'm really liking this. I'll probably do just another quick, speed up the video as I continue to block this in. I definitely want to get my Mall stick just to kind of get in those areas. I'm still not looking for just go in with my eyebrow. I'm still not looking for any type of finishing. I'm just kind of, again, adding some information and slowly getting it to a finished point here, right? I'm slowly getting it there. And so forth. Let me go in here because this got kind of funky here in this shape here. And I'll keep kind of messing with it until it gets there. All right. So I'm going to continue to kind of play with this. I'm going to continue to add additional layers to get it to where I want it to be. And then hopefully by the end of this week, I'll be really happy with what's happening around the face and the body and the arm area. So I'm happy here. I'm going to stay here just for now. And then the next class, next lesson, I will continue to kind of build up layers in this area, getting the hand area to where I want it to be. and getting the arms to where I want it to be. But I'm getting happier. I'm a little happier here. Let me kind of zoom out here so you can see. Boop. I'm getting happier. I'm just kind of stepping back to take a look. I definitely want to kind of get that hairline to come in a little bit more. I'll play around with that a little bit. And I definitely want to do some more layers in the body to get it to where I want to be here. But I'm getting happier. I'm happier with the mouth area. I'm happier with the eyes. I'm happier. I'm working on it. It's getting there slowly. All right, so I will see you in the next lesson, the next class, where I will continue to add additional layers to the body, hands, arms, face area to get it right where I want it.